What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible. Now, today, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by a man known by many names. Dobbs The Wino, DJ Wino, Wino,
Man,
Brian Dobbs. What's going on, man? How's it going?
it's good. Soren is real good. Yeah, those are all my handles. I can't even pretend like over the years we haven't gained a lot of them, but variations, but all the same wino.
Yes, and that's something I want to get into as we go out because I remember I was trying to figure out before I got to know you over the years. I'd always see the variation of the name, and I was like, "Man, is this the same dude?" Then I had to look for the songwriting credits and see the name and all that. So, how? Well, let's start with the first one, Dobbs and Wino. How and why did you get that moniker?
And sometimes the labels just put things in their own hands. So they combined my last name with my nickname, and just one day they wrote it, and once you write something, it's there. So they put Dobbs the Wino, and I'm like, whatever.
Just
But by the time you contact the label, I think Tommy Boy, you might have done that one by accident. But by the time you contact him, it's too late. Project's out. You like this. Well, Dobbs is my last name. Wino is my nickname. If you want to call me the Wino, make it like a real noun. It is what it is.
and that really started then with the County Line Sticky Finger single. Is that when it started?
Well, you know what? That they may have used it for the first time right there. But, you know, again, my nickname is Wino. So everybody always just call me Wino, period. And then them being corporate, they hit me with the Dobbs, my last name. So it was Dobbs the Wino. And I'm sitting there like, this is my name. I ain't got time to sit there and play. The work is more important sometimes than anything else. And I was like, I'll take that one.
All
But
right.
let's get it right on the next one. That's all I was like, So then you get DJ Wino, and he's like, you just can't seem to call me Wino, huh? It's just like I don't know. I thought it was like maybe a corporate thing or something, especially in that time. Still, we transitioned from uh, corporate structure to hip hop, street rap. I mean, that was a shock for corporate America, basically, especially people that were saying, my name is Brian, you know.
All right.
Yeah, okay, man. My name Wino. Oh, what do you do for a living? And you get that part, all the rest of that, John.
Well, let's take it back a little bit before that then. So, how and why did you get drawn to music?
Hey, hip hop. Hip hop came and hit the neighborhood in like 78 for me. And heard a little bit of rap. And then I started getting introduced to a lot of mixtapes from back in New York. Uh, from a lot of kids, WBLS, it was Red Alert. It was all the guys that really had action in the 70s, 79, pushing 80. Yeah, it just was hitting the neighborhood, man.
And
I was
where were you staying at the time?
at the at 70 and 79, I was in LA, South Central. Then I moved to Carson. And that's where my whole really music foundation started in
Hmm.
Carson, California, which is in the middle between Long Beach and Compton, dead
Yeah,
center.
yeah. It's funny because the first few times I went to Carson, I was like, man, this is right near all the hot spots, but we almost never hear about it. It's kind of
Oh,
wild.
yeah, you just seems as that's the way it has always went. I mean, Compton was to the if I was facing east, Compton was to the left of me, and Long Beach was to the right of me. And
Yeah,
we were right dead center. And I was like this. Yeah, we kind of quiet over our end. We never had a big rap star or any of those things that other cities come with. We produced a lot of athletes,
yeah,
especially
that's
in
for
the
sure.
small community, especially in our small community. And then
Yeah,
everybody else, they just most likely working class. It was a working class, real heavy working class neighborhood.
yeah. Now I
Yeah.
remember the first time I went to Carson, I was like, man, there's a lot of nice houses here.
Oh yeah, that
It's
part too.
very nice.
Oh yeah, that part too. Especially be 5 minutes away on both sides.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
like a little oasis of sorts.
I want to call it that, but we had to fight hard to keep them people off. Look, them people, I'm gonna say it straight out. The Long Beach niggas, the, the Compton, they had to keep fight hard to keep them off our back because they was looking for somewhere to, we can go over here and do whatever we like today. It was that nice looking. So we all had to figure it out. But music kind of like made all of it come together, like in a sense, meaning Coolio was from Compton. Dog, of course, Snoop is from Long Beach. So music just bridged the gap in between a lot of people, and which was the way it's supposed. That's what music does.
Yeah, it brings people together.
Exactly, exactly.
So speaking of which, if you were getting these tapes when you were in South Central and then also in Carson, who was getting them or how were you getting them? Who was getting them to you or how did you end up with them?
That's my girlfriend at the time. I'm only 12 years old, but I was still had a little girlfriend. Her cousins they were from New York. So when she went down there, she'd come back with Mr. Magic. She'd had a rap attack. I mean, she just would show me tapes and give me things, and it was all hip hop generated. And I was like, I need to know what's going on because this is not, it's not, I don't hear this at home yet. I'm not catching this. But I had the cassette tapes and I was tuning in very carefully. And there was a whole other world already out there, music.
Yeah. I grew up in Maryland. I had a similar experience when I started getting tapes my friends made for me or whatever. I was like, what
Mm-hmm.
is this? This is amazing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so how did you go from being a fan and loving the music as a pre-teenager to getting into wanting to actually make it?
Oh, again, it was kind of like when I first heard someone mixing the scratch. I think I'm not gonna. I can really recall. I believe I know I was probably listening because I caught a lot of the W. I caught a lot of the Magic. I don't. So I can't remember which station he was on. I caught a lot of Mr. Magic stuff, and then I would catch some of Red Alerts, but it was Marley Marl, and I was catching him more often. And when I would hear Marley Marl, I was like, oh, this is all right. I need to know exactly how this is done, what the sound is. And then I had a couple of friends from New York was, oh, that's mixing. They scratch and they, play it off like it's nothing. I'm like, they're not doing it. They trying to rap. And I'm like, okay, I need to understand it. So I got with a kid that came from his family was from New York too. And he had turntables and he was already on. Happened to be a gentleman named Gerard Burton. His name's Little Rockin' G from the Knights of the Turntables. He was the first one to really put me up on the mixing.
Hmm.
And then it just came from there. This dude, he already started making records and all that. They had a whole group. Him, Sinbad, all kind of crew of DJs. It was like 3 or 4 DJs already. And I was trying to like, I need to get in. Period. I need to learn my craft and get in. Because I wasn't gonna get in without having my craft tight. That's just the way it was back then. If you couldn't show and prove, you didn't deserve to be in.
Well, that's something I think is important to mention because I remember for me especially, but then also as I learned and got more integrated into everything, it just seemed like the artists and the people making it held a lot of reverence for it in a way that almost no one, the greater community, whether that's the black community or the music community or overall American culture, didn't have for it.
Yeah,
So, and as you know, I'm sure with the R&B crowd didn't love rap either. They hated it. So,
exactly.
so that being said, what was it about you and about your drive that made you so focused on the craftsmanship and the art and the magic of rap at that time when people weren't really looking at it that way, or a lot of people weren't?
So rap really wasn't the first thing that was on my mind either. I mean, the MC wasn't my focus. It was the DJing and competition, being competitive, most likely, because I can only go into the competitive nature of it. I didn't want anybody. I didn't want to get involved and not be good at my craft. So I had, and back then we would battle. It was DJ battles. So while MCs were doing their part, the DJs, which had the forefront at the time, right? If anybody understands, the DJs came first. So, and we had a very big stage in the beginning. And if you wanted to be good, you had to be able to take somebody out, just like in rap. You know, you get your ass cut up on that stage, somebody hit you with too many scratches or too many things that you couldn't do or you weren't capable of even understanding technical wise, skill wise, it was a wrap. You kind of faded away quick. Like you're like, oh my God, did you hear the way he was just scratching Howie T? You know, just hit him with this new scratch, or Marley Marl just hit him with this new scratch. And you over here trying to learn these scratches. That's all it was. Who could maintain and keep up with the techniques that was changing and evolving fast?